On March 17, 2021, Polygon published an article titled, "Where Does Doom Go Next?" In it, Ben Kuchera speaks with id Software game director Hugo Martin about the future of the beloved FPS franchise. The following day would see the release of Doom Eternal's last campaign expansion, The Ancient Gods Part 2, which would end the story arc that id began with their 2016 Doom reboot. So where does Doom go from here? Ben probably asked. Hugo responds by saying the following. Could we tell a story about when the Doomslayer first came to that place with the Sentinels? Almost like a medieval setting, a fantasy setting? I think as you play the DLC too, you'll see lots of hints of what we could do moving forward. Maybe even in the future. Again, our hero is somewhat timeless. I mean, literally, he's immortal, so we could tell all kinds of stories. Fast forward to September 19th, 2023. Microsoft is actively fighting against the Federal Trade Commission for its right to acquire Activision Blizzard. In the midst of this, several court-related documents are accidentally leaked to the public. Among these documents is a roadmap of planned releases by Bethesda Softworks and its parent company, ZeniMax Media, the owners of id Software, Machine Games, Bethesda Game Studios, and so on. Later reports would reveal that this roadmap had been made in July of 2020, 2 whole months before Microsoft announced its intent to acquire ZeniMax Media. It was clear at the time that the roadmap was outdated by a large degree. Starfield and Redfall obviously did not make their planned 2021 financial year release dates. In spite of this, several previously unknown projects were revealed. Chief among them, for this video's purposes at least, was a new Doom title known as Doom Year Zero. Year Zero, an evocative title to say the least. Some people, myself included, immediately thought of the 9 Inch Nails album of the same name from 2007. After all, Trent Reznor's love of Doom is what led him to creating the soundtrack for the original Quake, along with some sound design work on top of that. You know the "huh" that Ranger makes as he strafe jumps across the map at 90 miles an hour? Yeah, that's Trent Reznor doing that. Aside from just being a cool sounding name, Year Zero could be a not too subtle nod to a legendary artist and composer that id Software have worked with in the past. But what does it mean beyond that? Year Zero implies that you're resetting the board or going back to where it all started. Is this just going to be a modern AAA reimagining of OG Doom and Doom 2? Maybe id Software's gotten tired of new blood dominating the boom shoot scene and wants a piece of the pie for themselves. Have a smaller team work on a lower budget, retro-inspired title, while the main team works on something else like a new Quake game. Outside of this kind of surface-level speculation, there wasn't really anything for most folks to kind of grab onto. But Doomers like myself, we were put on high alert. Doom Eternal had only been revealed a mere 2 years after Doom 2016 had come out. The gameplay reveal at QuakeCon 2018 looked really solid, and at least to me, it looked like the game was pretty close to being finished. It was later scheduled for a November 2019 release before getting delayed to March 2020, so all in all, Doom Eternal came out just barely under 4 years from Doom 2016. Accounting for all the wackiness from COVID-19, a new Doom title being just around the corner didn't sound too far-fetched, at least to me. All any of us could do was just sit back and wait. That leads us to May 8th, 2024. Microsoft has just closed Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, and AlphaDog Games. Tom Warren, writing for The Verge, wrote an article talking about the turmoil that was affecting the tech giant's gaming division. Microsoft will be banking on some new game announcements lifting the Doom around Xbox. Well, isn't that interesting? Why'd you write that, Tom? Why is Doom italicized? Who've you been talking to? Where'd you hear that from? 4 days later, on May 12th, Clawsome Gamer reports that ZeniMax filed a trademark for IDKFA. Now, I don't know Clawsome Gamer from Adam, so I do my part and double check and confirm it myself. Well, butter me up and call me a biscuit. IDKFA is now a registered trademark of ZeniMax Media Incorporated. That's one of them there old cheat codes for the old school Doom that gives you all the fixins. Coincidentally, it's also the name of Andrew Holschultz's remake of the classic Doom soundtracks. You know Andrew. He's the guy, along with David Levy, who composed the soundtracks for Doom Eternal's 2 expansions, The Ancient Gods Part 1 and 2. And what's this? The trademark is specifically for computer game software and entertainment and a bunch of other stuff? What could this mean, I wonder? Mayhaps it has something to do with the rumored mod tools for Doom Eternal that people dug up one day when browsing through the Steam database website. Jump ahead a little to May 24th, and a different Tom by the name of Henderson publishes an article through Insider Gaming stating that the rumored Doom game is set to be revealed at the Xbox Showcase event on June 9th. Additionally, it's dropped the Year Zero placeholder title in favor of Doom: The Dark Ages, a nod to the game's alleged medieval inspirations. Later that same day, the industry insider known as Nate the Hate clarified that the game would be revealed as a multi-platform title, and I quote, "Yes, it's coming to PlayStation 5. Well, ooda lolly! A brand new Doom game is set to be revealed next month, and is supposedly coming to all platforms, minus Nintendo Switch, and it'll have some kind of medieval focus? Now, I can already hear what those of you who are in the know are saying. Well, that just sounds like Quake, or Heretic, or Hexen, or a Medieval, or Immortals of Avium. Remember that game? No, you don't. Why is id Software pulling an Army of Darkness when Quake is literally right there? I don't know the definitive answer to that, but I have a theory. So with my UAC baseball hat that grants +3 to intelligence equipped, I am going to plunge into the depths of my mind palace, aka the Doom Wiki, and present what I think Doom: The Dark Ages will be like. In order to do that, we need to listen to the Slayer's Testaments from Doom 2016.
In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood, burned by the embers of Armageddon, his soul blistered by the fires of hell, and tainted beyond ascension. He chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. He wore the crown of the Night Sentinels, and those that tasted the bite of his sword named him the Doom Slayer. Tempered by the fires of hell, his iron will remains steadfast through the passage that preys upon the weak, for he alone was the Hellwalker, the unchained predator who sought retribution in all quarters, dark and light, fire and ice, in the beginning and the end, and he hunted the slaves of doom with barbarous cruelty, for he passed through the divide as none but demon had before. And in his conquest against the blackened souls of the doomed, his prowess was shown. In his crusade, the Seraphim bestowed upon him terrible power and speed, and with his might he crushed the obsidian pillars of the blood temples. He set forth without pity upon the beasts of the 9 circles, unbreakable, incorruptible, unyielding. The Doom Slayer sought to before the horde, but the Doomslayer. Despair spread before him like a plague, striking fear into the shadow dwellers, driving them to deeper and darker pits. But from the depths of the abyss rose the Great One, a champion mightier than all who had come before. The Titan of immeasurable power and ferocity, he strode upon the plain and faced the Doomslayer. And a mighty battle was fought on the desolate plains. The Titan fought with the fury of the countless that had fallen at the Doomslayer's hand. But there fell the Titan, and in his defeat, the Shadow Horde were routed. And in his terrible rancor between worlds and through time, the Hellwalker found the wretch who shall not be named, but in his heresy was loyal to his evil cause. The wretch adorned the Doomslayer in a mighty armor wrought in the forges of hell, impenetrable and unyielding, with sword and shield of adamantine strength. The Doomslayer set to banishing all that were left unbroken by his savagery to the void. Yet as the mighty Titan fell, and dread engulfed the armies of doom, the demon priests of the blood temples laid a trap to capture this scourge of hell, insatiable even by the vanquishing of the Great One. The Hellwalker sought prey in the tombs of the Blood Keep, and blinded by his fervor, the lure drew him in. The priests brought down the temple upon the Doomslayer, and in his defeat entombed him in the cursed sarcophagus. The mark of the Doomslayer was burned upon his crypt, a warning to all of hell that the terror within must never be freed. There he lies still and evermore in silent suffering.
Now, there's nothing in Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal that explicitly states how the passage of time works in Hell, but I'm going to assume that it works very differently than how we perceive it in the real world. What we do know for certain is this: the Doom guy of Dooms 1, 2, and 64 are the same person as the Doomslayer that appears in Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. This was confirmed by the new levels that Night Dive created for their Doom 64 remaster. At the end of that game, Doom Guy decides to remain in Hell to prevent the demons from constantly invading the solar system. This is further confirmed in Doom Eternal through a couple of flashbacks and codex entries. We also know that at some critical point, Doom Guy ascends to demigod status or whatever with the help of Sammy Boy and the Divinity Machine. Like Hugo Martin said in that 2021 Polygon article, Dude Man has become immortal. On the outside, Doom Guy looks like he's in his mid to late 30s, maybe early 40s, so we've got an immortal dude running and gunning through a trans-dimensional plane of existence where the laws of space-time probably don't play well with our dumb little brains. Now, in the real world, the concept of ages is something that typically spans the course of several centuries of recorded human history. While the term's not typically used by modern historians anymore, our very own Dark Age or Dark Ages was typically defined as being set between the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the late 400s and the end of the Viking Age at the beginning of the 1000s. A time when enlightened works of culture and thought that those weird Twitter accounts love so much just ceased to exist. This is the early Middle Ages. The early medieval period where gallant knights roamed the land, saving fair maidens from evil dragons and whatever else. Now, for those of us who have more than 2 brain cells, this sounds pretty familiar. Not because of Quake or Heretic, but because of Doom. We saw kings in Doom Eternal, we saw castles in Doom Eternal, we saw dragons in Doom Eternal. Doom, but with a medieval coat of paint, isn't a completely foreign concept. It's been done, but only at about 30 to 35% strength. I hypothesize that Doom the Dark Ages will crank that knob to full blast with a double coating of medieval stuff. Does that mean that this game will be a melee-focused title instead of a true blue first-person shooter? No, I don't think so. The Doom franchise is first-person shooters. One can't exist without the other. And yeah, there were other games that came before, Wolfenstein 3D says hello, but Doom is what defined the genre, as cliche as that sounds. Thanks to Evil Dead, Doom's had melee combat in it since the beginning, but it was never the primary focus, and I don't see that changing. Guns are also not a unknown piece of technology to the Night Sentinels that Doom guy's been palling around with.
Your super shotgun is nearby, a relic from your past. The priests have kept it hidden from you in this remote location.
The ballista is functionally a reskinned Gauss cannon. It uses energy ammo, for crying out loud. Guns will probably still be Doom guy's bread and butter, but they'll have a cool little twist to them to make them look and feel more medieval. So what about the timeline? With everything I've shown so far, I think the Dark Ages will be set between Doom 64 and Doom 2016. We'll see how Doom guy first came across the Night Sentinels, eventually ended up in that crypt in Cad-Inger Sanctum, and just see him ripping and tearing and do all that good stuff. That's just my 2 cents though. I'm sure there's plenty more clues that I'm not remembering, but the Xbox showcase is just around the corner, so we don't have to wait too long to find out. You'll find links to everything I've talked about in the description, and as always, please remember to take a shower, brush your teeth, and I'll see you next time.